my formula, how I go about it is perhaps to many people bizarre. Yeah, in about, I can't remember when it was, but I ran a marathon in London Marathon, and I ran what I thought was a decent time for a guy in his, however old I was. And I came in knowing the bank of photographers were there and knowing they always send you, they're pretty sharp on that. And I pulled the big celebration and everything. When I got the photograph, there was somebody dressed as Big Ben behind me in a massive costume. And that, I suppose, was what provided the idea, and it sort of incubated. And then in 2009, I just thought, I've got to do something more. I'd raised a bit of money here and there for various things. I'd run for Save the Rhino. I did a London Marathon, raised thousands for them, not in the suit. And so, yeah, that was the thought. And the suit was based on a photograph I took 20 years ago, in 2005, in Bandhavgarh, of a particular female. And the wonderful lady, Liz, who put the suit together, came out to India. I made sure she saw one in the wild. And that started it. And I was due to run London Marathon. I didn't know whether I was going to finish it wearing something like that. And the simple story was, when I came out, I finished, and I hadn't left it all on the course, not even close. And I'd realized the reaction. I realized people got it. And straight away, you know, they see someone in that. They're not thinking he's raising money for lady mud wrestlers in need. He's raising for an animal we know is endangered. And so it went on from that. And so the following year, I thought, I've got to do more. If I'm asking people to put their hands in their pockets and be generous, and goodness me, people have been extraordinarily generous, we have to do something different. So I think I did 4 the next year, or did I? Yeah. And then the next year I ran Brighton, and then jumped on a plane to Kilimanjaro, came back and did London. That was awfully hard. Not just awful.
So you did London after hiking up Kilimanjaro?
Did Kilimanjaro, came straight down, jumped on a plane, arrived London, did London. Yeah, that was, and then the following year, what did I do? The following year, I said, that's it, that's enough. I just can't put myself through this anymore again. That's it, over and out, the tank set. And then people started getting in my face, saying you can't call yourself. Don't forget the word conservationist is the word conservationist is a bit like explorer or adventurer, and there's no qualifications required. And people were calling me a fraud, and I think perhaps with reason. Said, you know, you've made a lot of noise about this. Why are you stopping? And so I ran a couple, and I really messed myself up, and so I was off running for a year. And when I had my Achilles completely redone, I'd done some awful things to that. But then 16, I was strong again. And so I did a London, and I thought, okay, all right, come on. You've got other things to do now. And I didn't stop me fundraising, but for other animals and other areas, the FGM stuff we did, the water harvesting, all of these. And then I kind of got this idea of doing the Everest Marathon. It was pushed back, obviously, because of COVID. And then, I really butchered myself there. It was, just doing Everest Base Camp is hard. But I think one of the things that I love Nepal, I love Nepali people, and seeing some of the porters walking up with what they have on their backs, it was utterly humbling. And it's like, Paul, get a hold of yourself. But look, I think it's the only marathon I've ever done where I've gone an hour and I haven't even done 2 kilometers. So that took a long time. And it's a brutal marathon. It is. Of course it's brutal. You're going downhill quite a lot of it. You're going from base camp where you have 2 nights. Yeah, we weren't going to fail. They have a cutoff at 16 that if you don't make it by a particular time, you have to find your own accommodation on the mountain. It's pretty harsh. But anyway, we made that. And it was satisfying. So, you come back from that and you feel, I suppose, proud. Yeah, I suppose a bit proud, but also the message got to a lot of people. And then, of course, you go away. 23 came along and 24. And then I thought, actually, do you know what? If I can still move, if you watch a marathon, or if you watch people training, or if you watch the Paralympic Games, things like that, you imagine what some people wake up with. Yeah, I did this Achilles as well. The right Achilles got completely reconstructed But last year I said, no, come on. And I had this idea to go, I'm going to walk 25 marathons in 25 days, which sounded good in my head. And then, it's about a team. I had a good team. Yeah. And we went from Tigerton, tiny little hamlet in northern Scotland, all the way down to Tiger Bay. And it touched a lot of people.
Yeah.
It really did. But it absolutely, oh God, I was completely compromised by it, because some people said it's easier to run a marathon. Well, it's easy to maybe run one, but to have to get yourself up each morning for that, having really put yourself through it, and to be walking 10, 11 hours a day, and some of them are very hilly. Of course, you're in the lakes, and yeah, so, but people liked it. It was a different campaign. I mean, my first campaign was always called Worth More Alive, because they are.
Yeah.
A tiger butchered by a poacher and put on a slab and sold piecemeal to those despicable, insidious dealers in China and Southeast Asia. It may be worth, I don't know, $50,000 to a few people. But a live one with all of its ancillary benefits in a national park, maybe a female that has 3 or 4 litters, it can be worth as much as $70-80 million. When you think from the, I don't know, everybody associated with tourism, to the restaurants, to the guy cutting hair, to the rangers, it's worth a fortune to tour operators. And so I felt it can't just be tigers. You want this, if you're doing it in the UK, you've got to involve people. So the 2 Legs for 4 campaign came up, and it is just for Chris Packham said to me, well, what about birds? I said, look, just for once, this is just 4-legged animals, there's enough. And he's been so supportive and a real inspiration. He has. And so it worked. So we're doing it again, except longer this year. It's, people said, well, 25 marathons was rather messy, 1,052 kilometers. Why don't you do 1,000 miles? And I said, well, no. And they said, what about the song? And I said, I do see what you mean, the famous Proclaimers song. I can walk 500 miles and I can walk 500 miles. So we're splitting it up. So 2, and it's going to go from North Wales all the way across the Dales, Matlock, all the way through to the gorgeous East Anglian coast, finishing the southeast, and then it's going to go from, have a break, you go from Southend to Land's End. So all those bedwetting southern Jessies who said, oh, we didn't want to do it in Scotland, it's too far, you didn't give us enough notice. Right, come and join us. You got some of the greatest coastal walks in Europe. A lot of up and down. Sounds good in my head.
It often seems to you these days.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right.
You've just talked about how difficult it was to do 25 in 25.
I know, it's 1,000.
Having second thoughts?
No. I think there was one day where I got a shin splint. I mean, if you've ever had a shin splint, they just hurt. All right, let's just leave it there. And I was going so slowly. I just see this, and that was depressing. So what do? Drugs. Yeah. I just took handfuls of painkillers and eventually got over it. Strangely, I was probably at my strongest at the end of the whole thing last year, but that's no guarantee. This aging body, and it takes some punishment.
What kind of break are you giving yourself this time?
I've got
500 miles and then a break.
Yeah, I'm going to Alaska. I'm guiding on a small boat charter. I've got a dozen photographers with me there, so that'll be good. I'll do some swimming as well, cold water swimming. That'll be also good. And then back for the rest of it. So we're going to be coming through London as well. So it should be good. But we want lots of people.
How will people find it?
They'll see it. 2 Legs for 4. That's the website you look for. Totally. They just have. There's no charge. Yeah. They can do it for their own charity. The only thing you have to do is get the Ordnance Survey app for the day. Yeah. So that's our duty of care as it is. And if you can't follow that, well, frankly, you shouldn't be walking anyway. I mean, some people, there's always someone a day who leads the trek, because there could be just 3 people, there could be 50. And one bloke did it just using a map and compass last year. Massive. Alex, wherever you are, massive respect. That's it. But it touched so many people. Yeah. And I recall, you do get a big reaction. I'm going past a village hall, and there was a class. It was a charity for desperately impaired, or whatever the word is. I'm sorry if I'm using the wrong word. Children and young adults, and they all came charging out, and we were so far behind that day. I was on crutches, and I remember saying, guys, we're going to be even later now because I'm not rushing off here. And Yeah, just of course, when any charity organization, they really work because of, and it's the same as anti-poaching units. Whenever you get really down about wildlife being persecuted, you look for what I always say, look for the saints. And there are always some. And there was a girl that day, I just remember thinking, you are going to heaven. You know, she was extraordinary, and it affected her. And it affected me, just the tiger being there. Some of the kids were actually afraid of it, maybe of me, I don't know. But and yeah, and it's moments like that. I remember walking away, and the guys were all. I said, "You're going to have to give me a few minutes." You can tell now it's affecting me because I need to get a hold of myself for this, because we've got 13 miles still to walk. But yeah, so, and I think it could really be a big thing this summer. You know, England knocked out of the World Cup. You know, come and join us.
Oh, if you want to find out more about 2 Legs for 4,
yeah, 2 Legs for 4, yeah, on the site.
Link is in the
in
the show notes below, and then if you're watching on YouTube, we'll put a link up to it on the screen now.